these teams have up their sleeve. And here we see Rebirth of Empire versus Snow, and we see the pedal ban. Interesting coming out.
So with the pedal ban, I'm assuming that they're gonna be trying to like lock up, especially like a Koshka early, and with Snow being able to ban first, like they're either gonna lock up Arden, Adagio, or pedal or Koshka. So depending on who's getting banned first, like it leaves such a big open spot for Rebirth of Empire to secure that early jungle carry.
Yeah, it looks like Snow actually took out the fortress, so maybe Rebirth of Empire going for that Koshka, as you said, but they won't have the fortress to back it up.
Definitely, like, and it still works out pretty well. As long as Koshka's in that jungle, she has that mobility to actually move around the map, clear those jungle waves really quick. And it just depends on how they play overall as a team, like mechanical-wise. With a laner that's able to rotate down and help out the team a lot, it actually provides them with like so much favor in like the long run.
Yeah, so with these two bans, would you expect Rebirth of Empire to go with more of an early game pick? Oh, never mind.
This guy's actually a really good pick on their behalf too. Like, and we noticed how many of these teams have been playing Sky really well, like repositioning themselves, spamming those skills, and they make it so that Sky's worth it. That if you dive her and she doesn't die, she's gonna pretty much come back, reposition herself, and kill your entire team.
Yeah, it's definitely what Sky did. We did see that in the last set. Just fantastic play overall from Waldemar. But Rebirth of Empire taking the Sky. Snow, is there anything in particular they should be countering with, or are they just going to pick their own comp?
They're probably going to... What Snow does really well is like they're really good at counter picking. They're pretty much... Their hero pool is so wide that they can pretty much run anything that they want. So, of course, they're going to look at the Sky. They'll be like, what can we do to lock her down? Koshka is actually really good. Even like... If they have like a really strong jewel that can set up those skill shots and just pretty much try and blow up a hero, that's also really great too.
Yeah, and so we do see the Koshka come out. Do you think we would see a Ringo, you know, if basically you don't have to worry about skill shots, you just hit Sky?
I wouldn't secure Ringo right now, like seeing that they have a Sky on the other team already. Like with Ringo and Sky, it's like, it's really, like when it goes, you have that strong early game lead, but once it gets to the late game, it kind of falls off. And because everybody has to dive on someone, Sky's really good at repositioning herself, and unless Ringo's like going CP where he can like pretty much delete anybody with his ult, like their chances of like surviving in that late game is really hard.
Right, and Arden is still open, so he is the one taking off the board. So Sky against Koshka and Arden. It's going to be a little bit difficult to lock her down if she has a reflex block, but do you think Snow has anything up their sleeve for that?
But we're looking at Rebirth first, so let's say we're going to put Sky in this jungle, and having Catherine with the Sky is actually really great because they're able to lock down that Koshka when she jumps in. And Sky's just using her her forward barrage just to pretty much melt anything in his way, as long as people don't sidestep and get out of that way.
Yeah, for sure. As long as Sky is able to land her skill shots, as long as she gets those 30 strikes off, and the Rona pick actually comes in. So Rona and Adagio. Solid composition here coming out from Rebirth Empire. Sky, Rona, and Adagio, they have some pretty powerful early game, and they do have the ability to kite around with Sky.
Definitely, Adagio gives like a passive comp that early game boost because Adagio is a very strong roamer. And like early levels 1 to 3, he actually makes that big of a difference in terms of how you can kite, how much damage you can do. So building your jungle carry like a little bit tankier actually helps him out. But on the team of Snow, is like they're gonna have to think about this really well. It's like they're looking at the other team and they're like, late game we have to deal with the Sky, we have to deal with the Rona. Like what can we pick as our last hero to actually like counter against all this? So I'm hoping that they do grab a mage, even though there'll be double crystal power. But it's up to them.
Yeah, so we do see the Jewel come out once again, so they are looking for the lockdown onto Sky, but that's going to mean Rona's going to be very difficult for him to take down. Like, with the Sky, with the Rona, what do you think Snow's strategy is going to be to deal with it?
This is going to be pretty much based on how well Jewel is playing. Landing that leap into like Arden's ult is going to be amazing on their behalf. So on the team of Rebirth Empire, I'm actually giving like this comp advantage towards to them. But how they do as like a Crucible, how they use the reflex block is pretty much what determines the outcome of this game.
Yeah, so looking at these team compositions, do you think there's any particular key items that are going to be big breaking points for either of these teams?
Definitely. I'm not too sure about what Snow's going to do, but I'm pretty sure that they're trying to like build double crystal so that they were able to wipe out Sky after she's locked down. But they're going to have a lot of problem dealing with this Rona. So how they like decide to like counter this Rona in the early game really depicts like how the team fights and how the game is actually going to go. If they're invading a lot in the early jungle, they're going to have a lot of problems if they don't win the team fights.
All right, and the players are ready. We're going to be throwing into the match very, very soon, and we have our casters, Forecourt Jester and Tasty Bacon ready.
All right, thank you, Zekent. I am Tasty Bacon. On my left is Forecourt Jester, as we are going to be getting set to bring the next series of action. I'm looking forward to this one. Snow versus the Rebirth of Empire. Snow, they have something to prove here now. They're
yes and no. I mean, like Snow again, like very big confidence coming into this. It does look like it is going to be, kind of a little bit more of their trademark double crystal. Almost every matchup they've had like those petals, which did get banned out. It's always been about these jewels. Though. Jewel goes in, the crystal power, the big red button, and I think that could actually work out very well here. So again, I don't think they're feeling that pressure, but having such a big team into the lower brackets, it's definitely a little bit more, as you said, to prove.
Yeah, and once again, both of these teams fighting for their tournament lives. Loser goes home. This is so important. The winner of this does get a spot in the semifinals tomorrow. So a lot is on the line in this match. And we do see, as they make their way out into the map, double defensive items on the side of Snow to start things off.
I wonder if Kentusik, I believe it's Kentusik, and Look At Me are going to go for a little bit more of an early game romp around Net Toilette and Upfer. But of course, with that Catherine, every time that they do that invade, actually, no, that's not a Catherine, totally not. It's an Adagio. I would just, yeah, I don't know. For whatever reason, I thought Catherine would have been a fantastic pick, and they didn't pick it, and then my heart was shattered.
Well, you're going to have to
get
over that
it.
one quick.
Yeah, it's all good.
We are going to be seeing as the jungle starts it. They move defensively. A lot of teams have been doing this, starting off by skipping that first back camp, so that you can clear out the forward camps quickly and then move your way back safely. But in the lane, we see Snow trying to be very aggressive early on, which is, again, expected when there's a Kashka.
Yeah, if she can pounce in and get a little bit of damage, I mean, that might go a little bit of a way in order to make that laning for Araxia just a bit easier. But, it's the battle of the robots up here. Might as well just call them Gundams at this point. But the great Kali, that is the guy I'm going to be keeping my eye on because he is just an absolutely fantastic Sky. Whenever at least I get to the chance to look at him.
Yeah, I mean, it's both of these two, Araxi and Great Kali, are just phenomenal players in this lane position. So I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on that Battle of the Mechs, and we'll have to see how it does play out. But in the meantime, it's going to be the battle in the jungle.
Yeah, Look At Me and that Arden, the blood for blood, the Pouncy fun, and the Adagio nowhere to go. It's going to be the first blood going over to Kentusik, would you believe? It's not exactly the kill that Look At Me wanted, but it's going to be a jump for a leap right there. And Araxi just a little bit too late to kind of put his mark into that fight. Did not get an assist for that one either, but it is going to be that crystal power. So once again, the double crystal, and the big thing is looking at those rocket leaps. You rocket leap in, and especially in some of these choke points, the big red button could do some phenomenal work, and that's why you see Rona with double light shields already.
Yeah, obviously going to be optimizing very heavily towards those shield defensive items to help deal with that double crystal power comp. And that's the one problem that can come up when you do run a composition where two of your heroes, or your two carry heroes, are only one type of damage, is that you can itemize against it very effectively.
So it's, again, a little bit more of a, wow, look at that damage. Great Kelly has just had no chance right there. But now look at me. He's in the thick of things here. He's not exactly looking super healthy himself. Net Toilette is going to be taking a few shots there from Araxi, but there will be no turnaround kill. And Snow with 2 kills already onto the board. Now's a good chance to go into this counter jungle and see if they can pick up those forwards. The big guy here at the backs. It does sound like a lot of scout traps off to the side. And Araxi, I'm not entirely too sure if this was a little bit of miscommunication, but he was left into a 2v1. He will use the rocket leap. He's going to be a-okay. Kentusik, perhaps not. I'm not entirely too sure, actually. There's too much that the team can do against him here.
Yeah, that was very aggressive. Again, Snow they are one of the more aggressive teams here. And we commented on it after day 1 that Snow, along with their Russian counterpart, or their Russian brethren, I guess, because it was the 2 Russian teams were the 2 that seemed to be the most aggressive after our first day of matches, and they're living up to that, our observations from day 1 here on day 2.
So something that, at least in my experience here, with the NA finals last weekend, we had a lot of, crit jewels, weapon power jewels, and they really brought a lot of pain. But here on, this side of the pond, we do see, I think almost exclusively at this point, crystal Jules.
I mean, we've only seen Jewel 3 times now, and all 3 of them have been Snow.
So I'm not wrong.
But
that was a lot of words to say yes, Jester. Yeah.
It's a very limited sample pool when it's only one person playing it. But they are going to be, again, just trying to make a living in the opponent's jungle.
Yeah, and I'd say that overall they're doing more success than failure at this point. 200 gold or so between the teams and 2 kills up. And Araxi back into that lane again. With that Rocket Leap, he's able to clear up minion waves actually very quickly. He's sitting at 46 compared to the 39 there of the Great Khali. So a little bit more again. Advantage is going away. Oh, all right, we're gonna find the Pouncy Fun and we're gonna stop that into that jungle. So no more living there. This is now Rona's territory.
Yeah, look at me just overstaying his welcome a bit in the Rebirth of Empire jungle.
Boom, look at that. Fantastic.
Yeah, pretty much a Rocket Leap and a Thunderstrike, and the entire minion wave is dead.
And everyone goes home happy.
Well,
Except, of course,
I
the
mean,
minions.
yeah, I was going to say, those minions, they had a family.
If you say so. Snow still holding the lead here with 2-1, about 300 gold now, despite the fact that Koshka did take a little bit of a dirt nap. But in terms of some of these items going out, Net Toilette, first item is actually going to be a reflex block.
Yeah, and looking at first item over on the side of Snow, Araxi just finished off a Shatterglass already.
Shatterglass before 6 minutes. All right, what kind of absolute demon are we dealing with here? That is absolutely phenomenal. We do got that Frostburn ready to go for the Great Khali as well, so a little bit more kiting potential coming in here with that Sky. We saw some fantastic work out of it with Waldemar in our last set of matches. It's just absolutely ridiculous trying to chase him down after you get a little bit of that cooldown reduction going. But the Great Khali looking for his own reflex block. That's 2 now into the game on the side of Rebirth of Empire. No, that is just lights out for Upfire.
Yeah, as soon as that Rocket Leap landed on the stun, it looked like he may have been able to get far enough away, but just not quite able to get out of range of the stun. There's the big red button.
Wasn't even the big red button to take home the kill, but Net Toilette, I was really legitimately afraid right there for the steal. But Snow and Koshka able to pick it up. A little bit more cash now between these teams as you're looking at closer to 1,000. Rocket Leap back into the lane. Net Toilette's going to come down here saying, all right, better make sure my backs are here. But hey, he's going to find Koshka, and he will actually stop him from going anywhere. Red Mist coming out. I'm not entirely too sure. Look at me knew that he was under attack for a moment there, but he does have a heck of a lot of move speed to him.
Yeah, and actually what stopped that recall was the Gift of Fire. But he's going to be able to get some support from the team. Will it be enough?
Remember, he has that Frostburn
out the forward barrage, but it's not quite enough, as that will be 1 kill getting picked up.
Yeah, impressive coming out. Yeah, that's a word I would totally use here as well. Gets the second there with Araxi as well, and Katusik with that Vanguard. Will he pay for it? No, there's just not enough in the bank, but it was very close to actually picking up Net Toilette by the end of it as well. But Rebirth of Empire, all of a sudden, what gold disparity? Because they just bring this back, and they're going to take the gold mine for the trouble as well.
Yeah, so they're actually going to pick up a small gold lead here, very likely, once this gold mine does go over to them.
There it is.
Not quite enough to get them in the lead.
Yeah, remember, tiny, 70 gold at this point.
It was only about a 200 gold lead, so it was...
All right. Piercing Shard also going to be coming out here for Great Khali as he does a little bit of shopping. Takes the time out from that heavy mining and heavy minion farming. 70 minions now to his name for that lane. Araxi actually just caught up, despite the fact Araxi actually had that lead for a good while.
Yeah, so the 2 laners both doing exceptionally well here, and now that they're gonna both be matched up, but Upfire is the one here after Koshka had just left.
That's good rest.
Able to get a little bit of poke down. Not really gonna be enough to make Araxi worry whatsoever, especially with T6.
There are so many piercing shards on the Tasty Bacon.
There really are. There's, let's see, 1, 2, 3 of them on the board. 2 of them over on the side of Snow, so no surprises there.
Yeah, well, Snow knows that running this double crystal, it can actually be countered up by some pretty heavy shield and reflex blocks. Aside, we do got light shields on 2 of their opponents. The Great Khali, not really too worried about his defenses. He's just going to go full ham into those offenses. I mean, somebody's got to do it. Might as well be Sky. And Great Khali, 111, 88 creeps to his name. A lot of maneuvering around the gold mine, but nothing really getting done.
Yeah, there's also a lot of scout traps down on the map right now, so that we're hearing them going off constantly.
Flares
and
too.
Yeah, a big emphasis on vision for both of these sides, and that's how you win games. Vision is super important.
Did you see how slow Araxi got right there? What fantastic damage coming up from Great Kelly as well. Araxi's not going to be in any position here for a fight.
Yeah, there's slow from Frostburn on Great Kali. You have the slow from Gift of Fire, from Upfire. There's so many ways to manipulate the move speed, as it looks like we may be getting a small skirmish here. All 6 members are about to be in place, and Snow, they don't want any part of this. They're starting to back away.
Now, the poke is absolutely too much for them right now, but all right, I say that, but look at me, he's going to try to force this one anyways. Great Cali trying to take on Araxi into the back, the first up, big red button. Is that actually enough? Nobody's going down. There we go. Sky is actually going to take down the Jewel as Rona takes out the Koshka, and now Kentusik is going to be very much of an object of interest because we're looking at a potential ace here at the 10-minute mark, but I'm not entirely too sure Net Toilet can do this in the next 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be the ace, or maybe a delayed ace, but not going to be the ace buff coming out, as Kentusik is just chasing this one around, trying to get away, trying to steal the camp away, just to, knew he was going to be falling, so wanted to at least try and get a little bit of extra gold in return, but it doesn't happen. However, Rebirth of Empire, while that was happening, taking advantage of the situation, going into the lane and getting that turret, now giving them almost a 2,000 gold lead.
Yeah, gold leads going back and forth, but 2K finally cemented here for Rebirth of Empire. They also have that minion mine as well, and it's just mining itself away. Should be about 2 minutes or so until we see a big pull out. No, about 60 seconds or so, and that'll put us in around the 12-minute mark. 3 minutes past that, a decent gold payout, and the Kraken will be coming on to the fold. But 9 kills in 11 minutes, it's definitely a little bit more of a passive game. We have seen some pretty ridiculous aggression before, but if you can't get 1 kill a minute or so, then there's a lot of footsies going on.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I think a lot of it is, again, because these teams are facing elimination, they want to be playing a little bit safer than maybe they normally would. We saw a lot of early aggression from Snow in this game. That's definitely been toned down as they've started to lose out on these trades. Net Toilette, 4-0-0 on this Rona right now, is having such a strong game.
Yeah, 55 creeps as well, but Net Toilette coming down about half. Look at me, looks for the stun on top of Great Cali, but in comes the death from above. Low hit points upbound. The Gauntlet's going to go down, does not save out the Sky, but they traded out Sky for the Koshka, and as well, Rona picks up the Arden. We're going to have a rocket leap over the wall, and Araxi's going to be running for his life, but again, this is looking really good for a Rebirth of the Kingdom. The big red button, Net Toilette's going to live, but it's going to be just a punch to the face, and down she goes. It's 2 for 2, and Upfire is not going to find him.
that Jewel, the ultimate from Jewel, the big red button on Crystal,
Jewel,
it does so much damage. It looked like for a second that maybe Net Toilette was going to be able to survive it. The shield came out.
Yeah, he panicked. He panicked
enough. I mean, you do what you have to do to try and survive it. Obviously, you're not going to block the big red button, but you get that shield. It was almost enough, but of course, just being pretty much 1 hit away from dead, you're not going to be able to secure the kill after that. So great play by Araxi, and much needed play, as they were at risk of giving an ace up.
All right, so no aces and 2-2 for the exchanges, but still about 2,500 gold between the teams. There is 1 turret down for Snow, remember. So Rebirth of Empire, if they continue fighting here, well, if things go sour, it actually could be a turret, and things are not really looking good for Net Toilette. He's actually going to be down low already. Araxi now way up to the one side. Great Kelly is actually playing around with Look at Me off to the side, but Araxi's going to come into this one. He's still a big target. It is going to be the Jewel going down. No big red button coming out to play on that one, but Adagio with a kill out. Arden with a kill, and then Jewel, she's already out. Sky takes down the Koshka, and by the end of it, again, Rebirth of Empire still looking rather good. They're going to find Kentusik, but it doesn't matter. Nothing hit him. He's going to get to safety.
So Rebirth of Empire, they have been so close to securing an ace now on the last 3 fights in a row. That is, I mean, obviously, yeah, it helps you you're more confident because you're winning these fights. You're so close to getting the aces. You're the ones in the lead. But at the same time, it's got to start getting so frustrating to be literally just a couple hundred hit points away from securing an ace buff and not quite being able to get it over and over again.
So Snow's double crystals so far is not actually working out supremely well for them. And now, of course, the double crystals before have been petals, and petal was a big ban here. But even with broken myths, the shatter glass, we also have a few of those piercing shards. Actually, well, yeah, they became into those broken myths. Even that is just not enough, it seems. You know, they turn around the damage. Snow again. Let's see if they can do it this run. That's going to be a big red button opportunity. There it is. It's going to be some pretty hefty damage. The burst goes out there as well. But again, Rebirth of Kingdom is just living through all of this, and this will finally be that ace they were looking for.
Yeah, they finally secure themselves an ace right around 15 minutes. So the Kraken is going to be spawning. They are going to send Rona to go try and deal with that, possibly on her own. No, it looks like Upfire is going to come around to help out with that one. But again, you were talking about how they had run the double crystal power comps before. The other big difference is when they had run those, it had been against triple melee comps.
Yep,
and
that is also
this
true.
is the big red button just has not been anywhere near as effective in these fights, as there is going to be the Kraken being unleashed by Rebirth of Empire. Now they can make a move to try and shove their way down the lane.
13 kills to 6. And kids, yeah, if you don't have a pedal and they're not triple melee, maybe you shouldn't be running the double crystal. But Snow just not really finding its mark here in a lot of these fights, especially after, what, the six or so minute mark?
Yeah, it's, again,
been pretty downhill for them.
They came out really aggressive. They went up, was it 3 kills to 0 or 3 kills to 1? And it's just been all Rebirth of Empire pretty much from that point on.
And now you can see them pushing in this advantage. The Kraken is going to be just chomping down on top of this turret. Net Toilette is going to use that red mist, just again, looking to get that turret down. A little bit of life steal, death from above, just cutting off escapes. And Araxi has to use that Rocket Leap to safety. Look at me as well, just not getting huge damage. That's a pretty good big red button right there. But look at me, just could not seem to seal the deal for a kill here. During all that, the Kraken again is chomping on the next turret. I'm not entirely too sure it's going to grab that that takedown. It's going to be close. Nah, he's going to be 1 off, 2 off maybe.
Yeah, so they are only able to pick up 1 turret with that push. But again, we talked about it in our previous match. It's getting that 3rd turret down is so important. And now that one of those crystal turrets is going to be extremely low as well. So they can just either look for a fight because they've been winning each and every fight that's been happening the last, what, 10 minutes or so? And so they have the advantage. They have a very clear advantage, or they can just choose to wait it out and wait for that Kraken to respawn. So it's pretty much the ball is in Rebirth's court. This is their game to lose at the moment, but it's still, you know, it's not over. We have seen Snow. They said they can, you know, they've talked about the fact that they are confident in waiting the game out and playing passively, letting it get to late game. But I just don't think that they have the late game comp here.
Well, into the fray is going to be just finding that Koshka. That's going to be the gauntlet going out, but there's a first. Big red button's going to land some pretty good damage, but again, it's just not enough to seal the deal, and this is going to be a 2-0 turnaround. Now we've also used that big red button, and I feel that Araxi might actually just have to watch his base go up in flames right here, as Rebirth the Kingdom is pretty much on the verge of taking this first game in this series.
Yeah, thankfully for him, there are no minions there yet. So actually, Rebirth has to back off a bit and wait for these the little guys to join them. And by that point, Koshka is going to be respawned. And of course, Kentusik will be right after that. So they do actually just back off and wait. But again, we're getting so much closer to the Kraken respawn. It's just a couple minutes away now.
I'm rather surprised that they didn't go for the back door. I mean, that one turret on the bottom left is absolutely frail.
Yeah,
could have been an easy pickup.
Yeah, especially with the Rona and Sky.
Yeah.
And of course, obviously, Adagio then buffing up that damage as well. They definitely could have taken at least one of those turrets, but
even if you just leave Rona to it, you can just jump over the wall when they respawn.
Yeah, definitely. But although I don't know if Rona would be able to break through the backdoor protection on her own.
Well, no, but you just kind of leave her there once it's through. I don't know. That's just what I was expecting to see.
Instead, they do opt to play it safe. The infusion's now starting to come out on both sides.
That time of the game.
Obviously, the double crystal infusion over on the side of Snow.
Minion mines as well. It's going to be something of an objective in order to try to continue putting on the pressure up against Snow. If they can't leave that base, I mean, there's only so much they can do in this match.
Yeah, it's all about just trying to play defensive at the moment, trying to just stall the game out to the point where they can get more items built and try and find a fight in a choke point where the big red button can do some serious work. But again, it's all in Rebirth's court right now. They have every advantage as both teams just trying to set up a bit of a party brush. It doesn't work out, and now Kraken is on the map.
Yeah, there's another one crawling out from the depths. Net Toilette, however, finds the team of Snow. Araxi's going to be the big target. Once more, Rocket Leap into the big red button. Does not really hit the mark. Goes wide. And now Great Khali, he's going to be running for his life. Look at me, though. It's the one to go down. Net Toilette with the red miss. Doesn't quite find the kill there on top of whoever's chasing at this point, Araxi. But at this point, I mean, there goes Arden into the back, and Araxi, if she does not have that next rocket leap ready to go, it's going to be Net Toilette. Does she have that into the fray? She's not going to chase it into the turret. But a nice 2-0 turnaround, 17 kills to 6. And again, it feels like Rebirth the Kingdom could just put this into an endgame scenario.
Yeah, they're going to move over and start working on this Kraken with only Araxi to try and steal this one away. Obviously, you know, big red button is still down for 30 seconds, so not a whole lot of chance for this one to be stolen as they are just here securing this so quickly. Kraken is about to be unleashed,
there it is.
And that will be very likely Rebirth able to finish this game off because of how little health is left on that first crystal turret.
Love the sound effects when it comes out. The Kraken's very angry to be captured.
I mean,
I probably would be too. Yeah, you're right. Not entirely sure if I could growl like that.
You're
but,
just kind of hanging out, chilling in your pit there. You just had a nice meal of a gold miner, and then all of a sudden these people start beating you up and say, hey, now you got to fight for us.
Well, speaking of a fight, look at me is just, well, I'm not sure that was a fight. That's more of a slaughter right there. Koshka just does not make her mark in a lot of these team fights. Kentusik and Araxi, they're going to be there for the defense. But again, like, look how quickly that turret went down. Easy peasy. I really don't understand why.
The backdoor protection was not on it.
Well, c'est la vie. I mean, it's still out. The Kraken is pushing in, and it does look like Rebirth the Kingdom is going to actually bring this one into that first match of points. Snow is just not looking so strong here with that double crystal without the pedal or up against those triple melees, and Rebirth the Kingdom are going to stay alive at least one game longer here into these lower brackets. If they can solidify the next for a 2-0, it would knock out Snow from the